Game designer Cliff Bleszinski said on Twitter over the new year that 2017 had, quotes, been uneven for me. His solution, again, quotes, to kick 2018 in the face. You can kick people in the face in Cliffy B's game Lawbreakers, but I doubt that 2018 is one of the few people that's logged into that game recently.
The publisher of Cliff Bleszinski's multiplayer shooter flop, Lawbreakers, has written off the game completely. Lawbreakers released in August 2017 by Boss Key Productions, but player numbers were very low from the off, and they only got worse from there. Publisher Nexon's CFO Shiro Uemura said, quote, "We will not be accruing any other impairment loss pertaining to Lawbreakers in the future," which in English means they have abandoned the game and any hopes of making money from it. Nexon didn't spell out exactly how much money they'd lost on the game, but they did say that it accounts for the majority of the $32.6 million they lost in expenses in Q3 last year. Uemura said, quote, "Our results in North America in the third quarter were below our outlook, mainly due to sales from Lawbreakers being below our expectations. Lawbreakers is a unique FPS developed for core users. We had very high expectations for its launch."
So why did it fall flat the way it did? Well, Uemura blames PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for some reason. Quote, "The timing of its launch turned out to be unfortunate. Specifically, the blockbuster PC online game PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds came out right about the same time, making the market environment very tough for first-person shooters in general and for Lawbreakers." It's a tough argument to make, and as Eurogamer point out, PUBG had a peak of over 3 million people playing at one time on Steam last month. Lawbreakers had 90. That's not 90,000, 90 million, that's 90. 90. Yeah, he's blaming it on Battlegrounds. Can you blame the failure of a game on Battlegrounds? No, because there are many other successful games at the moment as well. Yeah, having a big juggernaut stomping around the place would make it a bit harder for it to bomb the way it did. That's not entirely Battlegrounds' fault, absolutely not.
Yeah, maybe there is an overlap in the players that would play both games. I'm not one of them people. I wouldn't play Lawbreakers, but I'd love Battlegrounds because it's got that realistic aesthetic. He probably would have been better blaming Overwatch because that game is an absolute monster, and that would have been sucking up all the potential customers. I don't know, I think there was a lot of things that went wrong with Lawbreakers. It was very niche to begin with, and he even says that limiting your potential consumer base in a way by having a very niche game in the first place, it's not going to go well for you, that's for sure. Elsewhere in the news, football but with cars game Rocket League now has 40 million players. In a tweet confirming the news on the official Rocket League Twitter account on Tuesday, developer Psyonix wrote, "Rocket League now has 40 million players worldwide. Thank you to our ever-growing community for helping us start the new year with such a fantastic milestone." The game recently launched on Nintendo Switch and featured in the top tier of Steam's list of top sellers for the whole of 2017, as well as in the gold tier of the platform's most played games of the year. Rocket League arrived on PC and PS4 in July of 2015.
It's a long time. It's been out for a couple of years, and it's still gathering steam. It's still doing really well. It's got this
Gathering steam, Mike. Nicely done.
Because it's on Steam.
Yeah. Oh,
Didn't try to do that.
Nicely done.
Slipped out. Yeah, and it's a great game. It's got this really basic and fun gameplay loop. It's very straightforward. You know exactly what's going on. It's incredibly intuitive. It's easy to play, and it's very fun to play. And they just keep going. They just add like cars and arenas and stuff, but the basic formula is the same. They've added new modes and stuff over that time. They've just kind of iterated on it and just kind of made it a bit better over time. People still flock to it, and it's easy to see why. And elsewhere in the headlines, Platinum Games, the people behind Vanquish, Bayonetta, and 2017's Nier Automata, are working on 2 new self-published games. The studio's head of development, Atsushi Inaba, told Game Informer this week about the company's first foray into independent publishing, saying, quote, "We now have 2 designs that we're genuinely focused on. We can't put together a AAA $10 million plus game because we just don't have that sort of cash. However, we don't plan to go the indies route with just a few people on a team making a game, so it'll be somewhere in the middle." Now, this would be Platinum's first attempt to self-publish its own video games. Inaba said there will be around 20 people working on development, and as for what kind of thing to expect, quote, "We're looking into creating our own IP, creating our own game." And interestingly, Inaba said the studio wants to surprise its fan base. He said the studio will have to be reticent of what fans expect from Platinum Games, which in his words would be crazy hardcore action, which it's hard to argue with that. That's kind of what they do. Yeah, they want to make new IPs. That's cool. 2 new self-published games. Great to see a studio just putting out their own games. That means there's no pressure from publisher outside. Awesome. Yes.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 received an update on PC this week, the 2005 version, that is. Yeah, a 269.3 megabyte patch was released this week to Pandemic's original Star Wars Battlefront 2, not to be confused with the identically named Star Wars Battlefront 2 that we all know and love from 2017. The game sprung back into life in October when its long-dead multiplayer was switched back on, just before the release of DICE's newer version of the game. The new patch arrived via Steam and includes improved lobby functionality, more accurate ping calculations, and Steam's usernames should now display correctly. The question now is, who the hell put the update out?
Let's see if he's who we think he is.
It's him, all right. Mr. Wells.
You know, the game was kind of reactivated online. The servers and online functionality had been off for a long time, but they were switched on just before the newer one came out end of last year. You know, it's pretty cool this has happened. The fans of this game are going to be a lot happier than most of the fans of the new game, that's for sure.
Does it have microtransactions and loot boxes in it though?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Good,
That's surprising.
Yeah.
Why are EA anywhere
Give
near
it time.
Yeah.
And finally, in That's a Terrible Idea news, an interesting looking third-party accessory for the Nintendo Switch emerged online this week. The comfortable hands-free stand, as it's called, was spotted by game developer Jake Karsdal in Kyoto, Japan. He tweeted a picture of the device with a caption, "When you need to Nintendo Switch harder." It looks like some kind of harness that dangles from the neck and holds the Switch at chest height 1 or 2 feet away from your face. This looks terrible. This looks terrible. Who thought this would be a good idea? It looks like a neck injury just already. It looks like a neck injury. I'm not even going to wait to happen. It looks like a neck injury in progress.
You get in some uncomfortable positions, some of playing the Switch, and you can get like a tight neck. I mean, I'd try it. I'd see if it works. You know, if I can sit up straight.
If it wasn't so stupid, yeah, I would. Why not?
It didn't look so ridiculous.
Get like a belt and a, you know, why dangle down?
Why dangle down, Mike? I mean, that's something to take with you through life in general, isn't it? Yeah. Why dangle down?
So there you go. What's the weirdest gaming accessory you can remember? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every single day. And check out that video right there, right now if you want. There's a link to Patreon as well if you want to support the channel. See you next time.